to talk about using speaking to get clients. And I believe it's faster than social media. I believe it's faster than any of the marketing that we talk about. I'm going to be talking to you about the Design, Live, Thrive Summit. This might be your first introduction to this summit. This is something that's near and dear to my heart, but it's one of the ways that people can speak. So, where can you speak? When I talk about speaking, there's many different ways that you could speak. You could have something that's pre-recorded that you share. You could be speaking actually on a real stage. You could be speaking on a stage of your own, which is either your own event. And I just want to help you guys see, like, it could be a local event. This could be at a coffee shop. If you're not like, I'm not going to rent a hotel ballroom and speak at that. You could imagine your own stage of any size. This is a stage. I'm on stage right now. So you can do it any way that you want to. And there are so many different opportunities. And then, of course, somebody else's stage, which is being invited to either collaborate with somebody. We could even call YouTube a stage. So there's lots and lots of opportunities to be able to speak. And what I'm going to teach you today is the entire way to create a presentation and honestly, everything you need to know about marketing a presentation, the timing of it, and everything. It is a very robust training where you're going to learn the whole entire process. Whenever you speak, you need to know what to say, of course. That's important, okay? We want to make sure that you're not just talking at people, but that you're really talking in a way that attracts the people that you want to be working with, okay? So today I'm going to be talking about a workshop. Now, there are many different names. Let's just talk about that for a minute. You might say, well, what's the difference between a webinar and a workshop? And what's the difference between this or that? Many different things. Many different ways you could call it. I happen to call this a workshop because today we're actually going to work, by the way. I hadn't told you that yet, but we're actually going to make some decisions and brainstorm on some things together. But I like to have them called workshops where people feel like it's more of an environment where we might be brainstorming together. But again, you can decide whatever fits you best. So I'm going to share the blueprint for creating your own workshop and all the steps involved. I'm going to teach you this process. It's a repeatable process. For some of you that are new in my world, I'll just tell you I do 2 complimentary workshops every month. This is the number one driver for my business. And for our clients that I teach how to do this, I'll share some of the results. They get incredible results as well. The blueprint process, I know that it works. Here's some examples, just real quick. These are clients that have held their first events. And I also want to normalize that when you have your first events, I tell our clients, your first event that you host, you might not want to hear this, but your first event might not have anybody at it. Because think about it, if you have a very small following and you invite 15 people and 7 people sign up, it's possible that nobody shows up. But here's the deal, you do the workshop anyway. So these results are super exciting. I had 6 people attend, it felt like I had 1,000. I had 8 people sign up. That feels so phenomenal. I hosted my first workshop, 7 people live. This right here, I added this picture because this is somebody who's doing it actual again, live with a presentation to a small group. It was a women's networking group. So that's an opportunity for you to do it that way as well. I am telling you guys about this because this is one of the things that we do in the Design, Live, Thrive Summit. I teach women how to speak at summits. It's an incredible opportunity. I will share the details to that at the end. There are many ways when you host a workshop or a speaking event where you can grow your list, you can get calls booked, lots of different opportunities. I want to teach this again because we actually host 2 summits a year, and I know that this works. And we have our upcoming summit in September. Okay, these are some of the results, what I'm talking to you about today. This was from 14 coaches from our last summit within 7 days of the summit. We start polling our coaches to get answers. We had more than 14 speakers, but only 14 had answered at this point. 317 opt-ins. Now, for some of you that are brand new, you might not know what that means, but that's where they're signing up for their freebie. That is massive. If you think about how many people you have on your email list today, and you have a portion of those, that's incredible. And also, when you speak or when you host a workshop and people are joining your email list, they are the ones who are already interested. They're signing up for something they're already interested in. So they're more like warm leads. There's calls that were booked out of there, consultation calls and free coaching calls. And within 7 days, 11 confirmed sales. If we don't know each other, I'm Debbie Shadid. Really glad that you guys are here. I am a wife and a mom and a grandmother, and I love to help female coaches learn how to grow their businesses. Most of the women that I work with, most of them haven't had very many clients. Some of them have had zero clients, but that's what we do. We help them get calls booked. And really, my goal, my biggest goal in life is to help coaching be something that everybody utilizes. I want girlfriends to know about the value of coaches. So that's why I think education is important. That's why I think workshops, again, webinars, summits, all those things are important. And I really like to be honest about things. So I'm committed to overcoming the BS that a lot of people pass out online. I'm not afraid to say it takes time to build a business and that it's also not super easy, right? But it's all doable. It's not an overnight success, but it's so amazing because you build a business for a lifetime. At this point, the business that you're building is a business for a lifetime. So, why would you host a workshop or an event? Well, education is key. That's my opinion. I want you to teach people, every single one of you has a different niche. I want you to teach people the value of what it is that you have to offer and why somebody would come and learn from you. Okay, so education is key, and we prove that through our summit. Okay, here's what we're going to cover today. The three-step framework to creating the perfect workshop. You could fill in the blank again. It could be called your speaking event or your webinar. So there's the preparation stage first. So that is planning what your talk's going to be about. It is planning the marketing in advance. The way to be successful in what you are doing is to have a plan for your marketing too. So often we get so caught up in the actual preparing our talk that we forget to market it. And look, without people, we got nothing. Then we're going to talk about crafting that workshop, what it looks like. And as I mentioned, if you're just joining, I'm going to go into a lot of details. By the end, you will know how to do everything from pick your niche topic, create your title, the flow of the conversation, how the email should go. I'm going to tell you all of it. Then the kind of third step, the middle step in is the live workshop strategy. When you're doing that workshop, how are you going to do it? What's going to be the timing of the conversation? What is going to be the flow of the conversation? And then the post workshop is going to be your follow up. How will you follow up with people? How will you stay engaged with them? And then, of course, assessment. So, we're going to make progress today because we're going to decide on a workshop. The workshop topic, I really want you to lean into as I'm teaching this to you today. I really want to lean into you touching into your intuition. Whatever idea comes up is probably the best idea that you have. I'm going to tell you how to decide on a title for a workshop. Now, we might not decide on the title for sure, but I will give you some title frameworks and then determining the hook. The hook is the thing that gets people to stay. Okay. I told you at the beginning that this is the fastest way to get clients, even faster than social media and even faster than any other type of marketing that we do. That's a hook. So the three-step framework, let me get into that. The first step I mentioned is the preparation before the workshop. It's all the planning for the marketing, for the workshop, for the talk. You're going to select a topic. I want you to select a topic and only talk on what you know. So alignment with your coaching niche, and then ensure that it solves a problem or that it gives somebody some big aha. Please only pick something that you know how to talk about. Do not go study one single thing for any talk that you do. You need to be able to talk about this stuff. If something happened to this slide presentation right now and I could show you the slides, I can teach you this thing. No matter what happens, I can teach this to you. Please make sure you're talking about that thing that you know without having to read a slide deck or read notes. The second thing is knowing what the hook is going to be. Why would this topic matter to your audience? Well, I know it matters to you guys because you want to get clients. I know that. That's what every coach says to me. Look, I'm really good at coaching and I know what I want to do. I just need to get clients. Why does this matter to your person? And then what kind of awareness can you create for people? What can you teach them to help them to understand so that they have a new perspective? And then the transformations. When you are done and you leave here today, what I believe is that you're going to have a very clear picture of how you can host your own workshop. And then the next step that you want to tell people is what they're going to do. In your case, I'm saying, I want you to have a conversation with me. I'm going to tell you about our offer. I'm going to tell you about the summit, but it's to have a conversation with me. That's my call to action for most of you at the stage that you're in. It is not going to be to buy my program with a link. For most of you, you're not at a place to do that. I really recommend that you have conversations with people. Even at the stage that I'm at, I want to know, like, am I the person to help you? What is your niche? Do I believe in your niche? Do I think it's a good niche? Do I think that you're the kind of person that I want to help? It's interesting because sometimes we forget that we have options. We don't have to make an offer to every person we talk to, like, yes, I want to work with you. You don't have to do that. We hold the power. So that's why I think consultations or conversations, discovery calls, whatever you want to call it, is the best option for a regular workshop. If it is a speaking event, a public speaking event at our summit, they do not offer consultation calls. What they do is they grow their email list. When you think about this, if you were on a stage, you would not say, hey, everybody sign up to talk with me. You would be saying, like, I've got a gift for you. Thanks for coming. That's the idea. All right. So the guidelines for crafting your talk. I've already mentioned this, but we're going to start with that powerful hook. I'm going to give a very generic example just for you to follow as I walk through these steps. So, what is the key problem? Somebody being overweight. Okay. And then if you were going to name three problems that could be related to being overweight, it might be my clothes don't fit. It's hard for me to exercise, or travel is exhausting. Something like that. You're poking at the problem. You're sharing what the problem is and why it really is a problem because you want to show them that you have an answer. You want to show them what it looks like to be on the other side of it. Then you want to share a relatable story. So it might be some embarrassing moment that you had where you needed to go somewhere and you knew you didn't look good, or something to do with travel, whatever it might be. Again, I think we all have some weight loss, some story about body image or something that we could relate right now. And then you want to talk about what is available for you. What is it that they might be missing out on? This is why coaching and education through a workshop is important. We want to be able to showcase, hey, this is what you're missing out on, and this is how I can help you. And then what happens when you use a coach? This is the important part where you're showing them the value of hiring a coach. That's the steps for outlining your workshop. All right, the call to action. What I'm talking about doing in a workshop is selling. We are selling every step of the way, selling to a conversation. You have to help somebody understand why they would want to talk to you. I mentioned I don't believe anybody should have click and buy, but what they are clicking and buying on is the conversation with you, why they should want to talk to you. And in some cases, depending on your niche, you want to help people understand what the conversation would even be. One of the reasons why I don't use the word consultation is because I don't want everybody to feel intimidated about coming to a call with me. I want people to know, like, look, if you're interested in having a conversation with me, let's do that. And then if my coaching is right, we'll talk about how that fits. You decide however you want to frame it, but that would be the idea of the next step that you would offer. At the end of your presentation, just like I'm going to do today, I recommend that you allow time for questions and for coaching. You're going to open up the floor, open up the chat for that. Now, if you are in a small group and you're like, I don't know who's going to ask me questions, guess what? You're going to ask questions. You're going to have questions that are the most common questions that people might have about that thing. You're like, so here's something that always comes up on weight loss is they're going on vacation next week and they're wondering what they're going to do. That could be the way that you pose questions when nobody has questions, because ideally you're going to fill that time with questions that help them see why they need your support. And then practice. I cannot tell you how much practice you should have. I'm going to talk to you guys about a 60-minute talk. I will tell you at the Design Live Thrive Summit, the speaking event that we help our coaches create their own signature talk is only 30 minutes, but this is a workshop, so it's going to be a 60-minute time frame. This is basically what it's going to look like for your workshop. You're going to spend 5 minutes welcoming people, and I really want to emphasize, I started at 1 minute after 12, whatever time zone you are, 1 minute after the top of the hour. I really would encourage you to start on time. Now, not everybody joins on time, but I would really encourage you for the people who came on time and who made time to be there, I would encourage you to start on time. Now, your first 5 minutes could be where you're saying, tell me about your niche, that kind of stuff, right? You're filling a couple of minutes while you're getting more people in the room. But here's the deal, you can start with nobody or one. I have started workshops in my past as I was growing my business with 0 people on the call. And I have added people on as they've come. And I've hosted a workshop. Let me give you the most uncomfortable situation so you know what is normal. I hosted a workshop that started at the top of the hour. About halfway through, one person came. And I let him in and I just kept talking like the workshop was just like it is, just like if I let somebody in right now. And then I looked over and the chat said, am I the only person here? And so I answered the question live and I said, you absolutely are. And what's so great about that is you're going to get private coaching at the end. You can do it however you want to do it, but that could be somebody's worst nightmare is nobody comes, but worse than that is one person comes halfway through. But it wasn't a problem. That's going to happen at some point. When you practice the timing of your talk, then you'll be able to make adjustments for it. One thing that I know is I can look at the slide number that I'm on and I know how many minutes I should be at based on the slide number. I know how many are in every presentation, and I actually decide by this many minutes in, I have to be on slide 15 so that I can ensure that I finish the talk on time. That's all of the planning that you do for the talk. And now let's talk about the marketing. You create a marketing timeline. We're actually working on all of our coaches right now are going to be doing workshops in June and July. And we had this question yesterday. Once I pick my date, I work backwards for the marketing schedules. Let me explain to you what that looks like. If we say our next workshop is on June 16th, which is true, what day am I going to send out the first email and the second email? What day am I going to post on social media? And then from there, when are the reminders going to go? I'm going to tell you about how that, I'll give you the exact flow of how those work. But that's what when I say create the timeline and work backwards, that way it's all scheduled. So you have all the dates. I might say the first email for the next workshop on the 16th is going to go out on the 9th. And the second email is going to go out on the 13th. And the first reminder email is going to go out on the 15th. It would be something like that. And it's already plotted out. Then you want to write your marketing message for the workshop. If you go back to the sign up page for this workshop, which is debbieshadid.com/workshop, I have written a marketing message about this. One beautiful thing is if you write a workshop that is, you wrote it, not AI, if you write it and you actually do the workshop and you record it for practice, you can take that message and you can put it into ChatGPT or Claude then and say, help me structure a message with my words. I don't ever want you to write the workshop with Claude or ChatGPT because you won't be able to comfortably deliver the workshops. I want you to create the script for it without using AI, but then utilize AI for some of the other pieces like writing the emails and those kind of things. And then making a content plan and then scheduling it in advance. I really want to encourage you to schedule the things in advance because most people are not going to sign up for anything until the last day. So we have most of our signups for this workshop in the last 3 days. And we probably had a lot of signups yesterday. We had people join this morning. I know that. So if you don't have your emails planned, you'll self-sabotage. You'll get discouraged because the first email will go out. And if you have a small list, you'll be like, nobody signed up, nobody cares, like it's not working. That's what we do to ourselves. If it's already scheduled, then you're not in your head about like, I suck and nobody signed up for this thing. You're like, no, there's another email that's set. The same way with your social media. You can schedule your social media free on any of the platforms. Honestly, use the scheduling within TikTok or within Meta or within Substack or wherever you are. YouTube, you can schedule everything. Then let's talk about your actual marketing that you're going to write, design, and schedule. As I mentioned, I think we do have a way to utilize AI, and I know everybody's using it, so I'm just trying to help you use it in the way that's best. Please make sure you write your own talk. I'm saying it again because I want to make sure you heard me. write your own talk in your practice round before you ever do your presentation slides, before you do the slides. You just record yourself doing the talk. And then after you do that, then you have the transcript from Zoom. After you do that, then you can even have Claude help you or ChatGPT. But then you can even have that transcript then taken into Claude or ChatGPT and say, please break this down into bullet points for a slide presentation. I don't let them make my slide decks either. I like to have control over the edits and the design. I make the slide deck, but I do have Claude break up and I copy and paste into Canva the slide decks. I know all the shortcuts. You can have them made in Claude or ChatGPT, but I personally think that it's better to be able to make changes easier if you do it yourself in Canva. Okay, so you're going to do email, social media. Then you have your urgent reminders, which I'll tell you about in a moment, and then collaborations. I really want to encourage you on this. If you can imagine that you have of your own personal email list in the beginning, 20 of your friends, and you have 100 people on Instagram, and you have your personal friends on Facebook. If you get together with another coach and you say, hey, let's do something together, which there's no competition, guys. Every one of you has your own niche. Every one of you has your own audience of people. The people who are meant for me are going to be mine. The people who are meant for you will be yours. So collaborate, right? What if you had an audience that's of 100 people? That's exactly what the Design, Live, Thrive Summit is. It's the most beautiful collaboration. So let me just pause for a moment. I want to explain about collaboration in the summit. My goal with the summit is it's called Design, Live, Thrive. Help women, the general public, not coaches, women learn about coaching where they can design, live, and thrive in their life. All of the speakers, you invite your friends, I invite my list, we run ads, you have your friends. It's a collaboration of all the speakers, friends, sisters, coworkers, because you're not selling those people anything. You're just saying, hey, come to this incredible event for women and learn. That is the power of collaboration, because now I'm actually getting myself, if I was a speaker, in front of Dr. Cheryl's friends, which is genius. Meg is getting her people in front of Dr. Cheryl. So you end up, the reason why those women end up with calls booked, it's not from their own friends, it's from other people, right? It's an incredible way. So you don't have to collaborate with 30 people like we do in the summit. You can collaborate with 2 people. Really want to encourage you to do that. And then I mentioned already selling at every level. So you have to create your form where people are going to sign up. And even on the most basic forms, whether you use MailChimp, We Teach Flowdesk, whoever it is, you're telling why they should come to that workshop. Why should you give me an hour of your time? What's in it for you? That's what I say when I say sell at every level. When you send the emails, you're like, hey, don't forget, this is important for you to be here because this is what you're going to learn. Reminding them, just because it's a free workshop, nothing is free. We all have a lot to do. We all have a lot on our schedule. So why should I give my time to this thing? All right, so here is after they sign up, what happens. So they've gotten the form, you guys signed up. Think about this is what's happened for you. You got a confirmation, hey, your seat is saved. Okay, you can choose what to put in there. We have sample emails, by the way, in that workshop bundle that I was talking about. It might say like, here's a Zoom link, here's the date, and here's why you should come. Here's why you should come. You're telling them, hey, this is happening tomorrow, and here's why you don't want to miss it. Okay, this is happening today. So, and then you want to do the, hey, it's happening today. It's starting in 5 minutes. I already told you there's going to be a replay, so make sure you watch for that. I also would highly encourage you with that replay to forward it to any of your coach friends that you might know who could benefit from it. These are all the tips of what you're supposed to do in your workshop. And then you want to have bonuses that expire. And we do have bonuses that expire. We always do. And then you want to have that last chance email that's like, hey, it's a last chance. If you want to be part of this thing, now's the time to get whatever it is. And then you're going to do that on all of the other places. I was talking about email, but you can also do that on social media. Anywhere you are, you can do that part. The second step is the live workshop where you are the expert. And let me just say again, you're the expert because you know your niche and you are only talking about the thing that you know best. Do not talk about something you have to learn. Talk about what you are so comfortable talking about. You're the expert, and to deliver a well-crafted workshop, you do what I said, which is write it out and you practice it, okay? You practice. One of the best things that you can do is Practice recording it on Zoom and watch yourself. Talk about learning a lot. You watch yourself back. There's a lot to be learned. Most people won't take these steps, but I still do this. And I've been in business 26 years. And then the second step is also to book your consultation calls. All right. So when it comes time to deliver it, we just kind of went through this. Engage people immediately. Hi, how are you guys? You guys just have some quick connection conversation. Since you are the expert, the coach that they're going to hire, you show up in your best energy. How do you show up in your best energy? You know what I did? I prayed right before this. I got prayed up. That's what I did. But that might not be your thing. I had all this crazy tech stuff. So I was literally walking around real quick, like shaking it off. I don't have to worry about the tech stuff. It's handled. And so I got myself to a space where I'm like, everything always works out for me. And so it does. If you pick the right niche, you know what you're talking about. Remind yourself of that. And then show up confident. Talk in that tone. This is one of the reasons why you should watch yourself back. You will see when you're talking, when you drop off. And if you drop off at the end in your tone, when you're saying, come have a conversation with me, there's some mindset work you need to do around that. You got to keep people engaged. Then during the live workshop, you want to make sure you deliver valuable content without overteaching. I'm going to give you a little caveat here because I am overteaching today, but I have coaches here that are learning to create income. If it's a workshop where it's like the first time they've been there, I do recommend 30 minutes because that's probably the most amount of time most people are going to stay engaged with you. So don't overshare, but also give your best stuff. Honestly, and then encourage participation. So you do not need to worry about telling the very best stuff. You are the asset that people need. I can tell you all of this stuff today. This is the same stuff that you could log into one of my programs and get. The same stuff. But I know that you have questions. I know that. So I'm not worried about telling you everything to do. Just keep that in mind. And then again, you're selling a consult. Okay, the third step is after the workshop. All of this planning happens before the workshop ever happens. What is going to be the follow-up? And then, of course, the assessment happens when you're done. But how are you going to assess it? These workshops, emails are already written. They're already written before the workshop. And you have down, here's the replay. We have our replay email written. And I'm actually the holdup in getting the replay because I edit it. And that takes a little bit of time. So I'm the one who holds that up. But typically, I would recommend that you try to send your replay the same afternoon. I can already tell you're not going to get it this afternoon because I have calls this afternoon. But you would, set aside time so you get it right out. People could be watching it tonight. And remember to promote the incentive in the emails, okay? And then I recommend doing some kind of bonus. So this is the way the workshop goes. So the same day email, you're going to add the replay. If you're going to offer one, and I do recommend you give a replay, I do think your replay should be time sensitive. That means your replay is going to be like available for 72 hours. That is the way our replays are. Why is that? Because we want people to watch it. If you give people unlimited time, they don't watch it. We're all busy. Make sure that all of your offers have time deadlines. Ours do. Ours not only have time deadlines, they usually have quantity deadlines. I can only help a certain amount of people. And then you want to follow up with some kind of sequence. How many emails are you going to be sending afterwards that are going to reinforce the benefit of taking that next step with you? Once you send the after workshop emails, then they just go into your regular email. And then the reminder email, which is the last chance. And remember, on the last chance is when most people will take action, okay? So your last chance, if you're like, I'm going to say launching something, which every time you host an event like this, we'll call it a little launch, which is this 3 or 4 emails. That last chance, if you are saying I've got 3 spots available, you are still reminding them last chance to get one of those spots. You're saying last chance to get one of those 3 spots. And then analyzing what happened, like who stayed, who dropped off, and when. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, you got to work on your mindset around this. People will drop off and it means nothing. You all have lives. You have the doorbell rings, you have to go. You're at work, you have to go. It's not personal. And if you make it personal, then you get in your own head. Because what happens on Zoom is you hear the ding. I hear when you come in and I hear when you leave. You don't hear it, but our Zooms are set up. You hear the ding when somebody comes in. I literally have had sometimes the same person ding, ding, in and out, in and out. I know now It's just that they're switching between their phone or they're going into the office or whatever. I don't make it mean anything. But it is good to see, did I talk too long and people dropped off? You're always just looking to improve what you're doing. Then review the call to action. How many consults did you get booked? Like our last workshop, it was really phenomenal. And I immediately was like, what did I say that booked all those calls? What was the offer that made that difference that booked all those calls? I can guarantee you we're going to do that exact workshop again real soon because it booked a bunch of calls. So that's what you want to know, what worked. And then gathering feedback. That can be from asking people, that could be you assessing yourself, like what worked, what didn't work. Like maybe you realize I didn't practice enough, or there was too many words on the slides, or I didn't follow the slides enough. Whatever it is, that would be something that you need to know for yourself. In this summit, I have to say again, following this process, this is exactly what happened. 30 opt-ins. Okay, now how they got the opt-ins, their opt-ins are like, hey, grab the freebie, pick up your phone and scan the QR code. 30 opt-ins after a talk. When I say this stuff works, 4 calls booked within 5 hours. Phenomenal results from this very, very same process. All right, then through your assessment too, you want to just adjust. And then, so for future workshops, you know what to do next. And also use your own intuition, because there might be something in this that you're like, you know what, that was kind of flat on that, or that was unnecessary. So adjust and make changes as you go through. And then the beautiful thing about creating a workshop like this is you've just created content that is, you could save this and put this on YouTube. You could save just yourself with Zoom. You can download just the speaker view. You can download the speaker plus the slide, or you can download the galleries. You could download just the speaker view and you could share that on YouTube. You could also make clips out of just the speaker view. So there's lots of opportunities. This same thing can be downloaded and uploaded to Substack. You could turn it into a blog. There's all kinds of things. So one piece of content gives you so many opportunities. And I have to say, this workshop, whatever you do again and again and again. All right, so your topic selection. What is the biggest frustration that your ideal client faces? What is holding them back from having success? What's all the things they have already tried? Good to know. What have they tried that hasn't worked? Okay. And then if you know those things, let's just pick one of them and decide to do it. The only way you know if your workshop topic is going to be good is by doing your workshop. The second thing to think about is figuring out a topic that you can educate them on why it's a problem. Like I could just say this about social media. Most of you guys don't love social media. And also we know social media isn't really a place that you grow a list very fast in today's marketplace. Yes, you can grow a list, but this is a great way to grow a list, a workshop. So I can talk to you about the benefits of that. And then showing them a gap of where they are today. If you're a coach with no clients and you could be part of our summit and have your first $10,000 generated from the summit, which we had a client that did that last fall, that'd be pretty mind-blowing. That's the gap of where you are, never having a call booked to getting calls booked. Pretty amazing. And then help them shift their perspective on why hiring you is the next logical step. When we talk about creating a title, again, I probably would screenshot this, maybe the next slide as well. This title of today's workshop, Teach and Sell in 60 Minutes. The sell is selling to a conversation. And this is the workshop blueprint. This is exactly what this is. Actionable outcome, they sell, right? Desired result, sell, time frame, 60 minutes. This is another way that you can do it. These are all examples like the ultimate guide to manifesting your dream life and achieving abundance. I want to go to that one. So let me give you the recap. Remember, I told you this is one of the steps, the recap. I shared with you today 3 steps of how you create this workshop. There's the preparation stage, the preparing for it, where you're planning the whole thing, you're thinking about the marketing, and you are thinking about the timeline to the marketing. You're writing the emails, you're writing the presentation, you're recording it, all those things. You're practicing it. And then the live workshop where you have practice, so it is perfect. You're thinking about the timing and the flow of it. And then that post workshop that I said, the 3 phases, the post workshop is where you have those follow-up emails already written and ready to go. And then the assessment as well. And by the way, even if you don't have an email list, you can still say on Instagram, like, hey, I hosted a workshop today. If you'd like the replay, send me a DM and I'll send you the replay. You can put the replay on YouTube for free and keep it unlisted, and you can send the link that way to them. Here's the full recap of what we talked about. We talked about the pre-planning. We talked about writing and designing the workshop, perfecting your talk by practicing it and making adjustments, and then planning your marketing strategy, writing and designing your graphics, actually doing the emails, scheduling everything, getting your sign up form. We teach Flowdesk. If anybody is interested in finding more about that, I have some trainings on that, but also I have an affiliate link that will get you a discount on that. But Flowdesk is the email marketing tool that we recommend, and you can create forms in there and you can do what's called workflows, which is a series of emails set up. And then when and how are you going to deliver it? Then your post workshop emails. Okay, so today we covered a lot, but you do know how to do your first workshop. Before we wrap up, though, I do want to go through what it is that I want to share with you about the Design, Live, Thrive Summit. You should have your idea. You should have your idea. You should have a way to write a title. You guys should know what the hook and the whole method for it is. So we've talked about that, and I hope you have a workshop date. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Let's change the world collectively together through coaching. And I would love to see you on my schedule, and I'd love to have you part of the summit. So talk to you soon.